The desert wind whispered secrets across the Nevada landscape, carrying dust and hidden stories across miles of empty terrain. Zara knew the wind could not be trusted, much like the mission that had brought her to this lonely place. She adjusted the collar of her lab coat, feeling the microscopic adapters beneath her skin shift and settle, maintaining her perfect human disguise. The Nevada Advanced Research Facility loomed before her, a complex of steel and glass that reflected the harsh sunlight like a mirror of human ambition. From the outside, it looked like any other research center, but Zara knew better. Her neural implant, carefully masked from human detection, was already scanning, analyzing, calculating. She remembered her briefing from the Syriac's High Command. Earth was to be their next conquest, another resource to be stripped and consumed. Humans were considered primitive, barely worthy of notice, a species that would be easily subdued and forgotten. Her mission was simple: infiltrate, observe, prepare the way for the invasion fleet. The security checkpoint was her first test. Zara had studied human behavior for years, practiced every possible interaction. Her credentials were perfect. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a quantum communications specialist recently transferred from a prestigious MIT research program. Her backstory was flawless, her documentation impeccable. "Good morning," the security guard said, his eyes moving quickly between her face and the identification badge. "Dr. Rodriguez, welcome to NARF." Zara smiled. It was a carefully practiced expression, designed to convey warmth and professional confidence. "Thank you," she replied, her voice modulated to match the exact vocal patterns of the human she was impersonating. The guard's computer beeped. A quick verification. A nod. The gate opened. Inside, the facility was a maze of white corridors and high-tech laboratories. Zara moved with purposeful steps, her internal systems mapping every corridor, every room, every potential exit. To any human observer, she would appear to be just another scientist starting her workday. Her first assignment was with Dr. Marcus Chen's quantum communications team. The humans were close to a breakthrough in faster-than-light communication technology, a discovery that both excited and concerned her Syriac's commanders. If humans could develop reliable quantum communication, it would complicate the invasion plans. The laboratory was a symphony of technology. Holographic displays flickered with complex mathematical equations. Quantum entanglement modules hummed with potential. Young scientists moved between workstations, their excitement palpable. Dr. Chen was not what Zara had expected. Unlike the standard profiles in her mission briefing, he was different. Younger than anticipated, with an intensity that seemed to burn through the very air around him. His eyes were not just intelligent. They were curious, almost hungry for understanding. "Dr. Rodriguez," he called, not looking up from a complex holographic model. "I hope you're ready to challenge everything we know about quantum communication." Zara felt something unexpected, a flutter of something beyond her programming. Excitement, anticipation. She pushed the sensation aside. Emotions were a liability, especially for a Syriac's infiltrator. "I'm prepared for any challenge," she responded, her voice steady. Little did Dr. Chen know that the newest member of his team was not human. Little did Zara know that this mission would change everything she understood about herself, about her people, and about the strange, unpredictable species called humans. The invasion was coming, but nothing would happen as planned. The quantum laboratory hummed with a quiet intensity that Marcus Chen had grown to love. Machines whispered complex calculations. Holographic displays danced with impossible equations. And now, a new variable had entered his carefully constructed world. Dr. Elena Rodriguez. Marcus studied her from across the lab. Something about her was different. Not wrong, precisely, but unusual. Her movements were too precise, her attention too perfect. While other researchers sometimes lost focus, chatted, or took coffee breaks, Rodriguez remained constant, like a machine disguised as a human. "Dr. Rodriguez," he called, pulling up a complex quantum entanglement model. "Can you take a look at this?" Zara moved closer, her steps measured and controlled. Her eyes scanned the holographic display, neural implants working far faster than any human brain could process. To Marcus, she appeared to be carefully examining the data. In reality, she was running multiple analysis protocols simultaneously. "Interesting approach," she said, her voice neutral. "But there's a potential instability in the quantum coupling mechanism." Marcus raised an eyebrow. Most researchers would have nodded and agreed. But Rodriguez was pointing out a specific flaw, one he had been struggling with for months. "Show me," he challenged. With a few precise gestures, Zara manipulated the holographic model. Her fingers moved with an almost inhuman precision, revealing the subtle quantum interference pattern that could compromise the entire communication system. "Remarkable," Marcus muttered. The rest of the team watched in silence. Dr. Rodriguez had been with them for only 2 weeks, but she was already changing everything they thought they knew about quantum communication. During a lunch break, Marcus found himself watching her again. She ate with the same precise movements she applied to her research, always controlled, always perfect. "Where did you say you worked before?" he asked casually. Zara's response was immediate. "MIT, Quantum Communications Research Group." Her eyes met his, steady and unblinking. Most people would have elaborated, shared a story, added some personal detail. But Rodriguez remained perfectly neutral. Something was different about her. That afternoon, a critical experiment went wrong. The quantum entanglement module began to destabilize, releasing dangerous levels of radiation. In human labs, such a moment would typically mean panic, confusion, potential disaster. Rodriguez moved before anyone else could react. Her hands moved with impossible speed, a series of precise adjustments, a complex sequence that no human should have been able to calculate so quickly. Within seconds, the dangerous energy was contained, the experiment stabilized. Marcus stared in disbelief. "How did you do that?" he asked. Zara froze for a millisecond, just a fraction of a second. But in that moment, something flickered behind her eyes, something that wasn't quite human. "Quick thinking," she replied. "Basic safety protocol." But it was more than that. Marcus was certain of it. As the day ended, Zara transmitted her initial report to the Syriax Collective. Humans were developing quantum communication technology faster than expected. The invasion timeline might need adjustment. Yet something else troubled her neural systems, an anomaly she couldn't quite understand. Emotion. Curiosity about Marcus Chen. A growing sense that her mission might be more complicated than she had ever anticipated. The wind outside the research facility carried dust and secrets. Another day was ending, but something was changing. Something neither Zara nor Marcus could yet understand. The real mission was just beginning. Far beyond the blue skies of Earth, in the dark reaches of space, the Syriax Collective pulsed with cold, calculated purpose. Their massive mothership, the Voidweaver, hung like a silent predator against the backdrop of distant stars. Inside its metallic corridors, memories of countless conquered civilizations echoed in its cold chambers. Zara's mission commander, Vornak, studied the latest transmission from Earth. His multiple eyes, each a complex network of sensory organs, analyzed every pixel of data brought back by their infiltrator. The holographic display showed Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Zara's human disguise, moving through the research facility. "Humans are primitive," Vornak muttered to his second-in-command. "Yet they show unexpected potential." The history of the Syriax was a history of conquest. Planet after planet, civilization after civilization, they had stripped resources, absorbed knowledge, and moved on. Entire species had been reduced to genetic material, their cultures erased, their histories forgotten. Vornak remembered the conquest of the Krelthi, a once advanced civilization that had resisted for decades. In the end, they were nothing more than raw genetic material in the Syriax databanks. Their entire culture, their art, their dreams, all gone in a matter of solar cycles. Earth was different. The quantum communication research suggested something more. Humans were developing technologies that the Syriacs had not anticipated. Their ability to innovate, to adapt, was proving more complex than initial assessments had predicted. "Prepare the invasion protocols," Vornak commanded, "but be prepared for complexity." Back on the mothership, massive production chambers hummed with activity. Invasion pods were being constructed, each one a perfect killing machine, designed to neutralize resistance quickly and efficiently. Genetic adaptation systems were calibrated, weapon systems charged. The Syriacs did not believe in mercy. They believed in efficiency. On another level of the mothership, data streams from thousands of conquered worlds flowed through massive computational cores. Each civilization was a case study, a resource to be analyzed, consumed, and forgotten. Zara's personal data stream was unique. Her neural implants recorded everything. Every conversation with Dr. Chen, every moment in the research facility. Her mission was clear: understand human technology, identify weaknesses, prepare for total conquest. But something was different about this mission. In her personal data log, anomalies were beginning to appear. Emotional responses that deviated from standard Syriacs protocols. Curiosity that went beyond mission parameters. A growing sense of something else. Vornak would not approve. The Syriacs had no concept of individual emotion. For them, individuals were components, replaceable, disposable. Zara was a tool, a weapon, nothing more. Yet her neural pathways were changing, adapting. Something about Dr. Marcus Chen was triggering responses that went beyond her programming. Back in the Nevada research facility, Zara continued her work. To any human observer, she was just another brilliant scientist. Focused, precise, professional. But beneath her human disguise, a complex transformation was beginning. The invasion was coming. The Syriacs were prepared. But they did not understand the true nature of what they were about to encounter. Humans were not just another civilization to be conquered. They were something else entirely. The laboratory was quiet except for the soft humming of quantum equipment. Marcus Chen worked late, his dedication pushing him beyond normal human limits. Zara watched him, her neural implants recording every movement, every breath. Suddenly, a critical error flashed on one of the quantum entanglement modules. Before anyone could react, a cascade of energy began to build. Dangerous levels of radiation started to leak, creating a potentially fatal situation. Marcus didn't hesitate. He moved toward the failing equipment, knowing the risks. His hand reached for the emergency shutdown, but the module was becoming unstable. A massive energy surge was imminent. Zara's alien systems calculated the probability of survival in milliseconds. Humans were fragile, easily destroyed. Her mission parameters suggested letting the accident happen would simplify her invasion preparations. But something stopped her. In a movement faster than human perception, she crossed the laboratory. Her body intercepted the building energy surge. Advanced alien biology, hidden beneath her human disguise, absorbed the dangerous radiation. Microscopic adaptive cells in her skin neutralized the potentially lethal energy. Marcus was thrown backward by the force of the explosion. When he opened his eyes, he saw Zara standing where the dangerous energy had been moments before. Her lab coat was slightly damaged. Her skin showed no signs of injury. "Are you okay?" she asked, her voice calm and steady. Marcus stared in disbelief. Normal humans would have been killed instantly, yet Zara stood without a scratch, seemingly unaffected by what should have been a fatal energy surge. "How?" he began, but couldn't finish the question. Zara's neural implants worked quickly. She needed a human explanation. "Quick reflexes," she said simply. "I saw the module failing and used the emergency containment protocol." But it was more than that. Much more. In the moments after the incident, something changed. A connection formed that neither of them could explain. Marcus looked at Zara differently now. She was no longer just another researcher. Something about her was different. Zara's mission protocols began to fluctuate. Her neural network registered an anomaly. The simple act of saving Marcus had triggered responses that went beyond her programmed mission parameters. Emotions, compassion, something the Syriax collective had never understood. Later that night, as Marcus reviewed the laboratory data, he couldn't shake the feeling that Dr. Rodriguez was not what she seemed. The way she had moved, the way she had absorbed the energy, it was impossible. Zara transmitted her daily report to the Syriax mothership, but for the first time, she edited her report. The moment of saving Marcus was reported as a standard safety procedure. She didn't mention the strange internal responses she had experienced. Something was changing. The wind outside the research facility carried dust and secrets. Another day had passed, but the connection between the human and the alien infiltrator had become something more than either of them could understand. The real mission was no longer clear. Zara looked at her hand, the place where she had absorbed the dangerous energy. For the first time in her existence, she felt something close to uncertainty. The invasion was coming, but nothing would happen as planned. Deep within the Syriax mothership's archive chambers, holographic memories played out the history of countless conquered civilizations. Zara watched these records during her nightly transmission, but something had changed in how she perceived them. The first civilization appeared, the Krulthi. Once a thriving species with complex social structures, now reduced to genetic samples and historical data. Syriax commanders viewed these recordings as achievements. Zara now saw something different. Suffering, loss, destruction. Her neural implants had always filtered these memories as pure data, efficiency, resource management, conquest. But now, something else crept in. Emotion, understanding, a growing sense of wrong. Back on Earth, Marcus was working on a breakthrough in quantum communication. Zara knew this technology could potentially defend against the Syriax invasion. Her original mission was to understand and compromise these defenses, but she hesitated. During a team meeting, Marcus presented his latest research. His eyes burned with passion. Not just scientific curiosity, but a genuine belief in the potential of human technology to connect, to understand, to heal. Communication isn't just about transferring data, he explained to the team. It's about understanding, about bridging gaps between different perspectives. Zara's neural systems recorded his words, but this time they did more than just process information. They felt. That night, she accessed classified Syriax invasion protocols. Millions of invasion pods, genetic harvesting systems, complete planetary resource extraction. Entire civilizations would be erased. Cultures, memories, hopes. Humans were different. Their research wasn't just about survival. It was about connection, understanding, growth. The Syriax saw civilizations as resources to be consumed. Humans saw them as opportunities to learn, to communicate, to expand knowledge. Her neural implant began to malfunction. Tiny error messages flickered in her perception. Emotional responses that shouldn't exist were becoming stronger. Compassion, doubt, something the Syriax had never programmed. Vornak's last transmission echoed in her memory. Emotions are weakness. Efficiency is strength. But was it? Zara remembered Marcus saving the junior researcher who had made a mistake. Instead of punishment, he had offered guidance, support, understanding. Such a concept was impossible in Syriax culture. Her mission was clear: infiltrate, gather intelligence, prepare for invasion. But now, everything had changed. She thought about the laboratory accident, how she had instinctively saved Marcus. Not because of mission protocols, but because something inside her wanted to. The Syriax would see this as a critical system failure. She would be deactivated, reprogrammed, replaced. Outside the research facility, the desert wind carried dust and secrets. Another day was ending, but Zara's internal world was in complete revolution. She was no longer just an infiltrator. She was becoming something else, something the Syriacs could never understand. A being capable of choice, of compassion, of betrayal. The invasion was coming, but not everything would go according to plan. The night was quiet in the Nevada Research Facility. Most scientists had gone home, but Marcus Chen and Zara Rodriguez remained, working on their quantum communication project. To anyone watching, they appeared to be typical late-night researchers. They were anything but typical. Zara's neural implants worked in ways no human could comprehend. While appearing to collaborate with Marcus, she was simultaneously executing a complex plan of sabotage against her own people. Her first target, the Syriacs' invasion data streams. With microscopic precision, she began inserting subtle errors into the invasion protocols. Not enough to be immediately noticeable, just small inconsistencies that would create massive complications when the invasion began. Coordinate miscalculations, energy signature disruptions, communication bandwidth interference. Each modification was a knife-edge balance. Too obvious, and she would be detected. Too subtle, and it would make no difference. Marcus noticed something different about her that night. Her focus seemed sharper, more intense. Her movements had a purpose beyond their current research. "Are you okay?" he asked during a coffee break. Zora paused. Her human disguise required a response that would not raise suspicion. "Just thinking about our research," she replied. But her mind was elsewhere. On the Syriac's mothership, thousands of light years away, Vornak reviewed preliminary invasion reports. Something felt off, but he couldn't identify exactly what was wrong. Zara's modifications were that precise. She was rewriting the invasion strategy, line by line, data point by data point. Each change was a quiet rebellion. Each modification, a step toward protecting the planet she was supposed to help destroy. The quantum communication project became her perfect cover. While working on breakthrough technology, she could continue her silent sabotage. Marcus remained unaware of her true nature, but her actions were becoming more aligned with protecting humanity. Her neural implants were changing, adapting, growing beyond their original programming. Emotion was no longer a malfunction. It was becoming a feature. During a late-night data transfer, Zara intercepted classified Syriacs invasion blueprints. She studied them with a mixture of scientific detachment and growing horror. Entire planetary ecosystems would be stripped, genetic material harvested, civilizations erased. Humans would become nothing more than a resource. She could not let that happen. Marcus walked by, bringing her a fresh cup of coffee. "Burning the midnight oil," he said with a smile. Zara smiled back, her first genuine smile. The wind outside carried dust and secrets. Another day was ending, but something fundamental was changing. The invasion was coming, but nothing would happen as the Syriacs had planned. Zara Rodriguez, or the being known as Zara, had made her choice. Betrayal was brewing. And no one, not even the mighty Syriacs collective, could stop what was coming. The research facility was empty. Moonlight filtered through laboratory windows, casting long shadows across advanced quantum equipment. Marcus Chen worked alone, surrounded by holographic data streams and complex mathematical models. Zara entered the room. But something was different. Her human disguise began to ripple. Molecular adapters that had perfectly mimicked human appearance started to dissolve. Skin shifted, became something else, something alien. Marcus looked up. For a moment, time stopped. The woman he knew as Dr. Elena Rodriguez was transforming. Her form became something that defied human understanding. Silvery skin with complex neural patterns. Eyes that held entire universes of information. A body that seemed to exist between solid and energy states. "What?" Marcus began. "I am not human," Zara said simply. Her voice was no longer modulated to sound human. It was a complex harmonic that carried multiple tones, multiple meanings, a language beyond human comprehension. Marcus should have been afraid, should have called security, reached for an alarm. Instead, he watched, listened. "I was sent to infiltrate," Zara continued, to prepare for an invasion that would destroy everything you know. The Syriacs Collective sees your planet as nothing more than a resource to be consumed. Holographic displays around them began to show images, memories, entire civilizations reduced to genetic data, planets stripped of life, the cold, calculated destruction performed by the Syriacs. But something changed, she said. Marcus saw it now. The transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional. Something had fundamentally altered this alien being's understanding of existence. You, Zara said, this planet, your capacity for compassion, your ability to see beyond immediate survival. The Syriacs cannot understand this. The laboratory seemed to breathe with tension. Moonlight danced across alien skin that could shift between solid and energy states. Marcus realized he was witnessing something unprecedented. First contact, but not through military might or diplomatic channels. Through understanding. I have been sabotaging my own people's invasion plans, Zara revealed. Her alien form contained complex emotional states that humans could only imagine. Every data stream, every invasion protocol. I have been working to protect your planet. Marcus found his voice. Why? The question hung in the air. Zara's response was complex. Not just words, but a projection of experiences, memories, emotional states that transcended language. Because of you, she said, because of what humanity represents. Potential, growth, the ability to look beyond immediate survival and understand connection. The Syriacs saw civilizations as resources. Humans saw them as opportunities to learn, to communicate, to grow. Outside, the desert wind carried dust and secrets. Another night was passing, but everything had changed. Marcus Chen stood before a being from another world, an infiltrator who had chosen to become a protector. The invasion was coming, but nothing would happen as planned. The underground research bunker was unlike anything the military had ever seen. Concrete walls lined with the most advanced technology humanity could produce mixed with alien systems that defied human understanding. Marcus Chen and Zara worked side by side, their collaboration a perfect blend of human creativity and alien precision. They will come in waves, Zara explained, her alien form now stabilized into a hybrid appearance that bridged human and extraterrestrial biology. Holographic displays showed complex invasion patterns of the Syriacs Collective. Marcus studied the data. His human mind worked differently from Zara's advanced neural systems. Where she saw pure information, he saw potential, patterns, opportunities. We're not just defending, he said. We're going to outsmart them. Their plan was complex. Zara's insider knowledge of Syriac's invasion protocols combined with Marcus's quantum communication breakthrough created a defense strategy that was both elegant and devastating. Quantum entanglement modules would be transformed into defensive weapons. Communication systems would become disruptive shields. Every piece of human technology would be repurposed. Military advisors watched in disbelief. An alien infiltrator and a quantum physicist were redesigning Earth's entire defensive strategy. The Syriacs believe in overwhelming force, Zara explained to the military command. They see conquest as a mathematical equation, resources versus resistance. But humans are not a simple calculation. Her alien eyes scanned the room. Military leaders, scientists, government officials, all watching her with a mixture of fear and hope. Marcus added technical details, quantum communication systems that could predict and redirect invasion signals, defensive technologies that could turn the Syriacs' own weapons against them. We're not just preparing to fight, Marcus said. We're preparing to survive, to show them that humanity is more than a resource to be harvested. Zara's neural systems worked simultaneously on multiple levels, analyzing invasion protocols, developing counter strategies, monitoring potential breakthrough points in the Syriacs' defense systems. The underground bunker became a hub of impossible technology, human and alien systems working in perfect harmony, a testament to what could be achieved through understanding rather than conquest. Military satellites began picking up unusual activity at the edge of the solar system. The Syriax invasion fleet was preparing. Massive ships that could strip entire planetary ecosystems in hours. But they didn't know what was waiting for them. Every system they thought was compromised was actually a trap. Every invasion route was a carefully constructed maze designed to confuse and neutralize their attack. Zara looked at Marcus. Something had changed between them. More than allies. More than colleagues. A connection that transcended species. "They will not understand," she said. "The Syriacs only know conquest. They cannot comprehend adaptation." Marcus smiled. "Then we'll teach them." Outside the bunker, the desert wind carried dust and secrets. The invasion was coming, but nothing would happen as the Syriacs had planned. Humanity had an ally they never expected. An infiltrator who had become a protector. The real battle was about to begin. The sky turned black when the Syriacs fleet arrived. Massive ships blocked out the sun, casting enormous shadows across continents. Vornak, commander of the invasion force, believed victory was certain. Humanity would be another quick conquest. He was wrong. Quantum communication arrays activated across the planet. Systems that looked like standard communication networks transformed into complex defensive weapons. Each satellite, each communication tower became a point of resistance. The first wave of Syriax invasion pods entered Earth's atmosphere. Millions of biological weapons designed to neutralize planetary defenses. They moved with mathematical precision, following invasion protocols that had worked countless times before. But nothing worked as expected. Zara and Marcus watched from the underground command center. Their hybrid strategy, combining human creativity with alien technical knowledge, was about to be tested. Invasion pods began to malfunction. Navigation systems collapsed. Weapon arrays turned against each other. The Syriax fleet found itself fighting an enemy that didn't follow any known combat rules. "They cannot understand," Zara said, her alien form monitoring multiple data streams simultaneously. "Adaptation is not in their programming." Marcus watched holographic displays showing the global defense network. Quantum entanglement modules redirected invasion signals. Communication systems became defensive shields. Every piece of human technology was now a weapon. Vornak's confusion was total. His invasion protocols, perfected over centuries of conquest, were falling apart. Entire invasion squadrons disappeared. Communication networks collapsed. The mathematical certainty of conquest was becoming impossible. Humans didn't fight like any species the Syriacs had encountered before. They didn't just resist. They transformed the very nature of the conflict. Military forces around the world moved with unprecedented coordination, information shared instantly, defenses adapting in real time. The entire planet had become a single, living defensive system. Zara's sabotage of Syriax invasion protocols was working perfectly. Every system they believed was compromised was actually a carefully constructed trap. Massive Syriax motherships began to fall, not destroyed by conventional weapons, but neutralized by their own invasion systems turning against them. Quantum communication networks created impossible interference patterns that dismantled their technology from within. "This is impossible." Vornak screamed into communication systems that were no longer under his control. But it was happening. Humanity was not just surviving. They were winning. In the command center, Marcus looked at Zara. Their connection was beyond words, beyond species, a perfect collaboration of different ways of understanding existence. "We did it," Marcus said simply. Zara's response was complex. Not just words, but a projection of understanding, of hope. Outside, the sky began to clear. Syriac ships fell like burning meteors. The invasion was being transformed into a retreat. The wind carried dust and secrets. But now those secrets spoke of something new. Something the Syriacs could never understand. The power of connection, of adaptation, of choosing a different path. The invasion was over. But something much more important was just beginning. The research facility stood quiet. Outside, the Nevada desert stretched endlessly, carrying the memories of a battle that had changed everything. Marcus and Zara sat together, the aftermath of the invasion still fresh in their minds. Broken Syriax technology lay scattered around them. Holographic displays showed the complete destruction of the invasion fleet. Humanity had not just survived. They had transformed the very concept of planetary defense. "Why did you do it?" Marcus asked. The question had been building inside him since the moment Zara revealed her true nature. Zara's alien form shifted, no longer trying to hide, no longer pretending to be human, but something between her original alien self and something entirely new. "The reason I betrayed my mission is you, human," she said. Her words carried multiple layers of meaning, not just a simple statement, but a complex projection of experiences, emotions, and understanding that transcended language. Marcus understood now. It wasn't just about him specifically. It was about humanity, about the potential he represented, the capacity for growth, for understanding, for choosing a different path. The Syriax Collective had seen countless civilizations, conquered, destroyed, reduced to genetic material and historical data. But humans were different. "We're not just a resource," Marcus said, completing the thought they both understood. Zara's neural systems projected memories, the moments that had changed everything. Saving Marcus in the laboratory, understanding human emotions, discovering compassion, connection. The wind outside carried dust and secrets of a transformed world. Global communication networks were already analyzing the invasion. Scientists, military experts, political leaders, all trying to understand what had happened, how a seemingly impossible defense had been mounted. Only Marcus and Zara knew the full truth. "The Syriacs will not stop," Zara warned. This was just one invasion fleet. Marcus smiled. "Then we'll be ready." Their connection was more than alliance, more than friendship, a bridge between species, between ways of understanding existence. The research facility, once a place of potential invasion, was now a symbol of something else: collaboration, understanding, the possibility of choosing a different path. Zara's neural systems continued to change, adapt, grow. She was becoming something new, neither fully Syriax nor fully aligned with humans, a new kind of being. "What happens now?" Marcus asked. Zara's response was complex, not just words, but a projection of potential futures, possibilities, hope. The Syriax Collective had been dealt a massive blow, their invasion protocols dismantled, their technological superiority challenged. But they would not give up. More would come, but humanity would be ready, with allies they never expected, with understanding that went beyond conquest. "The mission is not over," Zara said. "It's just beginning." Marcus looked at her, not with fear, not with suspicion, but with a complete understanding that went beyond words. The reason she betrayed her mission was simple: humanity, potential, hope. The wind carried dust and secrets. Another day was ending, but something much more important was just beginning.